Legacy.com's May 2026 Memorial Tribute Pay, honoring the artists, innovators, icons. Join me as we reflect on their lives, achievements, and lasting memories. Rest in peace to all those remembered today. Let's begin.
Singer Alex Ligertwood of the band Santana died May 1st, 2026 at his home in Santa Monica. He was 79. Best known as Santana's lead vocalist for many stretches between 1979 and 1994, he gave voice to some of the Latin rock band's most enduring chart hits, including Winning and Hold On. He is also being remembered for his years with the jazz fusion band Brian Auger's Oblivion Express. Actress and boxing referee Gwen Farrell Adair died April 30th, 2026 of natural causes in Sherman Oaks, California. She was 93. Entering the boxing world as a licensed referee in 1980, she became the first woman to officiate a world title fight, going on to referee more than 700 bouts over her career. She is also remembered for her recurring role on MASH, playing multiple nurse characters across 26 episodes of the beloved television series. Biologist J. Craig Venter died April 29, 2026 in San Diego of complications from cancer treatment at 79. Venter co-led the landmark race to decode the human genome. His work pioneered a faster gene sequencing method that helped launch the modern era of personalized medicine. He's also remembered for leading the creation of the first living cell governed by a fully synthetic genome, a milestone that launched the discipline of synthetic biology. Venter was a veteran of the United States Navy. Cartoonist Nicole Hollander died April 23, 2026 of natural causes in Chicago at the age of 86. The creator of the comic strip Sylvia, she gave a sarcastic feminist voice to mainstream American newspapers for more than 3 decades. Legendary cartoonist Jules Feiffer called her work some of the nation's finest political satire. Hollander is also remembered as a mentor to younger cartoonists, including Alison Bechdel, who wrote the introduction to Hollander's memoir in 2018. Sports radio broadcaster John Sterling died recently. His death was announced May 4th, 2026, by WFAN and the New York Yankees. He was 87. The play-by-play radio voice of the Yankees for 36 seasons, Sterling called more than 5,600 games and became inseparable from the team through such signature phrases as, "It is high, it is far, it is gone." He's also remembered for a wide-ranging pre-Yankees career spanning multiple sports and cities, and for winning 12 Sports Emmy Awards. Entrepreneur Doris Fisher, the co-founder of the retail clothing giant The Gap, died May 2nd, 2026 in San Francisco. She was 94. Fisher was not only The Gap's merchandiser for the company's first 4 decades, she was also the person who came up with the name The Gap, in reference to the generation gap of the 1960s. She's also being remembered as a billionaire who donated hundreds of millions of dollars to supporting charter schools and the visual arts. Basketball Hall of Famer Adrian Odie Smith died April 28, 2026 at the age of 89. He was a gold medalist with the U.S. Olympic basketball team at the 1960 Olympic Games in Rome, and he played 10 years in the NBA, mostly with the Cincinnati Royals. In 1966, he became the only player in NBA history to win All-Star MVP honors the one and only time he played in the All-Star game. Smith was a veteran of the United States Army. Media mogul Ted Turner, the founder of CNN, died May 6, 2026, at his home in Florida, 8 years after announcing he had been diagnosed with the progressive brain disease Lewy body dementia. He was 87. Turner was one of the most influential figures in modern media history, transforming his father's billboard company into a broadcasting empire that helped launch the era of cable TV and ushered in the field of 24-hour TV news. He's also being remembered as the ex-husband of actress Jane Fonda and as an environmental philanthropist who helped save the American bison from extinction. You know, every week while we're researching this video, we see thousands of new obituaries that families have published at our website, legacy.com. And I've noticed that a lot of those families invite people to donate to the Dementia Society of America. More than 5 million people are living with dementia today. And that's why we've just created a new online memorial at Legacy that honors the lives of families and individuals whose stories are so worth remembering. Stories like this colorful mom and teacher from upstate New York, who made sure her family knew she wanted them to play the song Unchained Melody at her funeral. Like this Army veteran from West Virginia, who moved to DC, went to work as a television engineer, and eventually became the first black vice president at NBC. And this beloved mother, who survived polio as a girl, opened 2 restaurants in colonial Williamsburg, and transformed her lifelong love of movies into an artistic passion, painting portraits of classic movie stars. To read these stories and thousands more at our memorial to the lives touched by dementia, just go to legacy.com and click to visit the memorial.
In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 25 years ago this week, singer Perry Como died at the age of 88. One of the most popular vocalists of the 20th century, his hit songs included Till the End of Time, Catch a Falling Star, and I Love You So, and his variety shows were a huge presence on TV in the 1950s and 60s. 25 years ago this week, author Douglas Adams died at the age of 49. His best-selling series, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, is considered one of the most mind-blowingly funny sci-fi universes ever imagined, spanning books, radio, television, and movies. 45 years ago this week, reggae icon Bob Marley died at the age of 36. The most celebrated musician in the history of Jamaican music, he brought reggae to a worldwide audience through anthems like No Woman, No Cry, Redemption Song, and One Love. Rock and roll pioneer Ritchie Valens would have been 85 this week. The California-born star was still in high school when he recorded the classic La Bamba, becoming an American cultural icon. He tragically died in a 1959 plane crash at the age of 17, along with fellow musicians Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper. Singer Bobby Darin was born 90 years ago this week. He conquered both the pop and jazz charts with swinging hits like Splish Splash and his iconic Grammy-winning big band recording of Mac the Knife. He died in 1973 at the age of 37. British actor Albert Finney was born 90 years ago this week. One of the most acclaimed stage and screen actors of his generation, he earned 5 Oscar nominations for films including Murder on the Orient Express and Erin Brockovich. He died in 2019 at the age of 82. TV journalist and talk show host Tom Snyder was born 90 years ago this week. He is best remembered for NBC's The Tomorrow Show, where he talked candidly with cultural figures ranging from rock stars to politicians. He died in 2007 at the age of 71. Comedian Don Rickles was born 100 years ago this week. Legendary for his razor-sharp insult comedy, he entertained audiences for more than 6 decades as a nightclub performer, actor, and TV personality, not to mention playing Ham in the Toy Story films. Rickles died in 2017 at the age of 90.
Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in North Dakota have been lowered in honor and remembrance of State Representative Liz Conmey, who died in a plane crash along with her partner, Joe Cass. Flags in Minnesota have been lowered in honor and remembrance of U.S. Army Captain Willibald C. Bianchi, a World War II Medal of Honor awardee and prisoner of war, whose remains have finally been returned home more than 80 years later. Flags in Virginia have been lowered in memory and honor of Dr. Serena Wanzer Fairfax and all victims of domestic violence. Flags in Maryland have been lowered in honor of Maryland highway construction worker Dipak Kumar R. Patel, who tragically lost his life in the line of duty. Flags in Illinois have been lowered in honor of Chicago police officer John G. Bartholomew. Flags in Maryland have been lowered in honor of Coordinated Highways Action Response Team member Robert W. Dempsey, who tragically lost his life in the line of duty. Flags in Massachusetts have been lowered in honor and remembrance of Massachusetts State Police Trooper Kevin Trainor, who was killed in the line of duty. Flags in Arizona have been lowered in honor of retired Major General Glenn W. Bill Van Dyke. Flags in Michigan have been lowered in honor and memory of former State Representative Steve Adamini. Flags in South Dakota have been lowered in honor of former state legislator Karen Munster.